some commentary and give some like information and stuff and like interesting, hopefully interesting stuff, facts and all that about this. So so I'm trying to think what to say. The original opening. Sometimes I'm like paranoid that this song is like too like sometimes I'm worried, oh, I hope it wasn't bad for me to use this song for okay. But like Skywars can, you know, they will, like Skywars can get it done. You might not have seen a whole lot of it yet, but but I'm still paranoid that like this, what if this song is like bad, what if it's bad for me to use this song? I don't know. Anyway, about the animation itself, I will say I don't think I think it's still good and stuff, but I definitely like there's definitely improvements. But yeah, there's sorry, I don't really know what to say about the opening, except that there's a lot of shininess and a lot of like, wow, I've improved since I made this. But you know, I'm not like trashing on the opening though. Anyway, but yeah, all the characters looking up, and originally it wasn't actually going to start with this. It was actually going to start with the part way later where Kyra was saying goodbye. That was actually going to be the start. But then I decided, oh, it would be cool if I like started it with like them when they're like little. So I started with, oh yeah, so I wanted the February 29 birthday thing. Was I decided to establish that whole thing with this like argument thing between the two of them. Also, originally fun fact, but Skylar denying February 29 existing was actually originally just going to be like a one-off joke, but then it ended up becoming a thing, and it ended up getting more building more on that. And this part's like, it's kind of strange. It feels like it makes it look like Skylar's the main character, but like he's still a main character. But like, I don't know. I just kind of might make people watching get confused, thinking that like Kaze's that Skylar, this Skylar is the main one. I don't know. But yeah, Kaze. But yeah, I also, when Kaze was not cold, that was like establishing, setting up the whole like, you know, she's strangely like numb to all these like weather type things. Also, I hope this didn't make it look like Skylar was like wrong for not like he was wrong for being mean about it, but he's allowed to have boundaries. So I want to make sure that's clear. But you know, but he's not wrong for having boundaries. So yeah. Like, you know, it's fine if you don't want to hug. It's just him being a jerk about it was the bad part. Was him being a bad part. Doing it saying it in a mean way. Anyway, I'm not sure. I hope I'm not missing any important things to talk about. But yes, so basically showing all the main characters, well, not all the main characters, some of the main characters meeting. There's some Easter eggs in these random kids in the not the audience. There's Pikachu, there's Louie from Bomberman, there's one that's meant to be like Kirby, which is next to the Louie one. There's one that looks like Pencil from my Fun Pack Friends series, which, by the way, yes, I am still going to do more of that too. It's just been on the back burner for a long time. There's also one based on, wait, was it my character or just me? I forget, was it based on Brock the Person or was it just based on me?
Hello everyone, my name's Carmony Trouble,
anyway,
but you can all call me Car for short. It's not actually my birthday today. Then why are you here today, lame-o? Well,
oh yeah, also the way they all said good morning, it was like based on how, like, and I've heard other schools do this too, apparently, they would say good morning to the teachers in that weird, like, chanting way, and it was really weird. I don't know, like, I don't know if there's gonna be people who are, like, confused and be like, huh?
Brain cells they don't have. I'd say they were born literally 2 minutes ago.
that was also a joke
birthday
because
isn't today, genius.
like them meeting in the episode was
I'm done now.
literally
You can
2
go
minutes
now, Red Hoodie
prior,
Kid. Hey
and
kids, my name is
or
Kyla Wolf.
almost, and that in universe not much time passed because there was only one time skip in that span, and it was very small. It was just them going inside and stuff.
Is it okay if I sing a bit of it?
Okay, I need to pause this because everything is happening way too fast and I can't keep up. Okay, the scene suddenly switching to Kaze was like I'm thinking, oh, I hope that I feel like that might have been like weird, jarring. I don't know. The random kids. You also got Gumball, and then that's Kenny, and that's Butters, and I think everyone else was just like random. Like these two and these two were just random. Wait, yeah, my cursor's there, right? Yeah, this was Kirby, Louie, Pencil, and I forget if this was Rock the First Sin or just me. And well, not literally me, but like based on Pikachu. And these two are just random kids, and then these two are also just random kids, and then that was supposed to be Butters, and from South Park, and that was meant to be Kenny from South Park, and that was meant to be Gumball, Watterson, and then these four here, that's Car, Mel, Cindy, and Skylar, and then that's Mrs. Cook, the teacher, and I'm trying to think what else I had to say, yeah, something about Kaze being immune to the weather. I said I established that thing, and then I was talking about the main characters meeting, and like I think I like forgot that like people at the age of are people is the average, I don't know if on average 4-year-olds know how to read or not. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I don't remember what's like the average age, and I'm not saying that like to insult like if anyone's behind or anything. I'm just referring to like what's the most common. I'm not saying that to like you know shame or judge anyone if they're like not at the average or just in general. I'm not insulting
before we get started,
anyone.
Today is Thursday, the 28th
I know, it's like that was one of the things. It's like whoa,
we have a couple of
I animated somebody
today.
writing.
First we have Comedy Trouble. What? Why him
But
first?
like they're also learning how to write in
alphabetical
this, and I
order.
think I guess I like forgot that that's not usually 4-year-olds usually aren't learning how to write yet. I don't think they do anyway. But I guess maybe in there wherever they live, I guess it's the norm. I don't know.
But you can all call me Kat for short. It's not actually my birthday today. Then why are you here today, lame-o? Well, I already turned
but yeah,
back, but I just moved here from across the globe. So,
I remember when I showed this to relatives, they were like saying Skylar like is annoying. I was like, I don't know, I find it funny that I love Skylar as a character, but it's funny. I do find it funny when people are thinking he's annoying because he is like kind of jerky at times.
I'm done now. You can go now,
Poor Car.
Hey kids, my name
But
is
yeah, the chalkboard in the background was just to show like, oh, it's the next day now, and I don't know if that transition was kind of jarring though, because it's like showing like, oh, they're both named Skylar Wolf.
11 p.m. by All American Rejects.
But yeah, the reasons they were both called Skylar because Kaze was Skylar first. Then I decided, oh, what if she had a twin who's also named Skylar, spelt the other way? Because I've since found out this I guess isn't the case, but I thought Skylar with an E was like for a boy, and then Skylar with an A was for a girl. But then I read some baby name book, and it said those were both girl spellings, and the boy spelling for Skylar was like some, like, one with like a CH in there or something, and I'm just like, huh? I don't know. I hope Kaze singing that song is meant to be like a meaningful thing. I really hope that I hope it's not secretly about something that would be like bad to like associate with this scene. I don't know, like, I don't know. For some reason, Cindy and Mel make me think of like ice creams there. Like, just freaking ice creams. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the characters, like, so Cindy and Mel would just randomly, I decided to name them after Sydney and Melbourne for some reason. They were meant to be like Kaze's like two best friends.
Skylar, I can't believe I
this, and then Spade was like, I was like, I know this isn't really how it works, but I'm like, I gave him like, his fur color is a mix of them two fur colors, and his eye color is a mix of their eye colors, so his like, eyes are purple and got great fur. Although I later decided
I'm not upset about what day it is, I'm upset about what day it isn't, because it doesn't exist. What today is my
so yeah, yeah, Skylar's whole like February 29th thing, it was just like a one-off, like, oh, because he's a 4-year-old, so he hasn't really experienced a leap year besides the one he was born in. But then it kind of evolved. I was like, oh, what if he continued to like deny February 29th to be funny, even as a teenager he is. But then I'm like, oh, I just realized like stuff that would make. That's why I like added on to that February 29th thing. Sorry if you're confused, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Your brother's upset. Just let him calm down. Even if you think he's being
and
ridiculous.
this was like, I guess this is like kind of like an evolved, like originally there was like Spade was originally had a way different personality. He was originally just like he was originally just like gonna be a jerk, but then I don't want to make him a jerk, so I just like changed him to be like a nice person. And so originally he had this like a-hole-ish favoritism but towards Skylar, but then I was like, where he like treat the other ones, Kaze, like terribly. But then I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather just make. So then there was like, I changed it so like, by the time of this, by the time I made this series, by the time I made this series, like I already like that this was when I kind of like recalibrated some stuff in the series to make it like. Now the favoritism was not actually favoritism, but it was just genuinely he like kept forgetting Kaze, and like and in the part I need to pause again. In the part where he was like getting mad at Kazuya and stuff, I was like, it wasn't meant to be like it was meant to be more like it unintentionally came off that way, or like in universe it unintentionally came off that way, but it was more just like he understood why Skylar ran away, and he was a bit annoyed why did Kaze follow him, but then like when she expressed like not understanding, he kind of like stopped because he realized she didn't really understand like why Skylar like was so reactionary, if did I use that word right? I don't know. And then and then the birthday forgetting, it was just like genuinely he like forgot, but Kaze was still hurt by that. It's like poor Kaze. But yeah, but I'm trying to think, what else do I have to say? I don't know. But yeah, sometimes you can like hear the static, like in the like this is back when I used to pitch change most of their voices, so I just had this freaking static. Like, you can hear it. Maybe not in this. I don't know if you can hear this, but
when your brother's upset,
you can hear the static changing pitch. Oh yeah, there used to be more static in the background of the recordings too, but then I started recording with the phone instead of the computer, which gives better sound quality, at least in my experience.
Oh, right.
I'm sure you can get good sound quality with a computer and not a good one with a phone. I'm just saying, in this specific case, I'm just saying the using the phone gave me better quality than using the microphone I have on the computer. But that's not an insult to the microphone or the computer or anyone else. Or oh my god, why do I keep needing to clarify that things aren't an insult? Oh my god. Anyway, so I think this was one of the scenes I recorded at nighttime, and I since decided like I'm not gonna record scenes at night, even if they're quieter, because I realize it kind of even if it's characters being quieter, it still kind of like I guess like numbs the ability to voice act like in the accurate. I don't know how to describe it. Oh my god. I'm sorry, my descriptions aren't very good. But yeah,
How did you get her number anyway? I guessed it.
I'm trying to think what to say about this scene.
I watched the teacher when she was dialing your dad to pick you up.
So yeah, no, I was gonna talk about the characters. So like, I got Kaze, originally known as Skylar, and then I like gave her like 2 best friends. I was like, okay, there's Cindy and Mel, similar names to Sydney and Melbourne, because I don't know why I decided to name them after them. I just did for some reason. And then Car, because like I was like, oh, what if Mel? So Mel, originally the idea was like Kaze's a big gay. Kaze was like, I was like making up Kaze was like a lesbian, and then Mel was like the super sweet, like she had a boyfriend and they were like a cute sweet couple. So Car was like I was like, oh, because they're sappy sweet. What if it's like Mel and then Car, like caramel, caramel.
Why don't we have to
Originally,
move?
Car
The
was
whole
gonna
place
be
was fine.
Cara, but then I
We
made it
made
Car
someone feel
because
there, and no
because
stupid neighbors got to
I don't know. I
share
guess I
it
wanted to make it
with.
sound
I
like
don't know, but our new
caramel
neighbors are
instead of
creepy.
caramel, or actually, it sounds more like caramel. I don't know.
Hey,
Even though I
green
pronounce
coat
it caramel.
people, go stare at someone
And
else.
and it's still spelt like the same either way. But anyway, this family is totally not obviously like
Yeah,
Kenny
talk's
ripoff,
just as
but
weird as
you
they
know.
look. Well, howdy doody, chums. My name is Corny McCamrick. I'm pleased to
And
meet your queen's little
anyway,
buddies. Could you try
Corny
that again without the
Corny
immense dork
McCamrick
vibe?
is totally not
Hey there,
obviously
punks, I'm Corny
based on
Yo. I
Kenny
got the
McCormick.
time to be your dude.
Well, the
bro.
name, not the character
Could've done
himself
slightly
is like
better or way worse. Skylar,
kind of
be
like
nice.
more similar to
Sorry about my
Butters,
brother. He's
but
an
also
idiot.
like
My
not
name's
at the same time because he's
I'm
still
the
got a
one
different
who's the
personality.
one. We're gonna be your new
But
neighbors.
just some
Well, hey,
similarities.
you guys are so much cooler than the last guys.
Cindy was
What's
like
wrong with
the one.
last
The
guys?
Cindy was like
They
so
didn't exist.
Kaze
It's
had
my
like a
sister's
flustered
birthday.
crush
I knew
on
you were
Kairu,
going to
and
say
then
that.
Hey,
and then
kids, you
Cindy
can talk
was
to the new
like
neighbors after we moved
like
everything inside.
one of those girls
Oh,
who
gee,
like
I'm sorry,
squeeze
pal, but
over
get out of
guys
the
or
way.
something, but
Hey,
like
don't
didn't
worry,
have someone,
pal. We
and
can keep hanging
I don't know.
out. Why don't you help
And
us carry
eventually,
some
her and Skylar
boxes?
became
Gee whiz,
one of
thank you,
those
chums.
cases where it's like pair
I
the
swear,
spares, but
I'll
like
never meet
actually
somebody
works
lame
really
enough
well.
to
Because I'm
do
like,
it.
oh my god, they actually make sense though. Like,
Oh, swivel-doodle.
because sometimes pair the spares
appreciate
like
you trying
usually
to
refers
help,
to
but
when
please
the
stick to
the two
smaller
ones that are
lighter
left
boxes next time.
don't make
I'm
sense,
sorry,
like
I'm
are
sorry, I'm
paired,
sorry,
but
I'm sorry,
even though they
I'm
don't make
It's
sense,
alright.
but like then
There
there's
was another
cases where
box inside
they
the
actually
box.
do work.
Something
Like
there was extremely important, but it wasn't breakable,
same
so
thing
it's
happened
fine.
with Axel and
I'll
Wally
get
in
this
the Fun
up.
Pack
You can
series.
play
Like
in the box
they
and
were the
run
last
around.
ones to actually
Could you try that
become
again
a
without the
pair,
immense dork vibes?
and I realized, oh, they
Hey
actually make
there,
sense.
punks, I'm
But yeah,
Corny
same thing
Dog
happened
Yo.
with Cindy and Skylar because like originally I wasn't gonna pair them, but then it made sense. Also, Cindy used to be a B word. Well, I mean she still is, but like not in a literal sense. But I decided I didn't want to make her a bitch anymore, so I just and Skylar became less like he's still like jerky, but he became less more of a a-hole and more like one of those characters who's like a jerky, but also like still like not a fully
If
a
you
jerk.
help
Like
carry some boxes
they
as well,
like still can be nice as
sure.
well. I don't know.
Why don't we have to move? The
But-
place was fine.
but yeah,
We
Skylar's
feel
kind of
there,
that
and
though.
no stupid neighbors got to share it with.
But
I
yeah,
don't know, but our new neighbors are creepy.
if I recall,
Hey,
I think the
weird
reason
coat
I had
people,
them live
go
in a
stare at
field
someone
was
else.
because I didn't want to because I was like, oh, it's easier to like draw and animate and less of a pain to like
Yeah,
make the
talk
like
just
okay they live in a big grassy
Well, howdy
field,
doody, chums. My
so
name is
I don't
Corny
have to draw a whole
McCamrick.
bunch of
I'm pleased
houses
to meet your
around.
queen's little
But
buddies.
then I also like it when
Could you
it's
try that
like
again without the immense
originally
dork
something
vibe?
came up for like random
Hey
like
there,
reasons or
punks,
little
I'm
reasons like
Corny
that,
Dog
but then
Yo.
later I
Time to
build
be your
onto
dude,
it, so it's
bro.
actually like a really cool important like
Do you
part
think
of the
that was slightly
lore.
better or way
When
worse?
at first it was
Skylar,
just
be
like,
nice.
oh, it's because it's a pain
Sorry
to
about my brother,
to
he's
have
an
other
idiot.
like a
My
whole
name's
bunch of
Skylar
houses,
Wolf. I'm the
city
one, he's the stupid one.
place.
We're gonna be your
But
new
then I'm
neighbors.
like, oh,
Well,
but
hey,
now I
you guys are
came
so
up
much
with
cooler than the
cool
last guys.
backstory
What's wrong
reasons
with
why
the
they live
last
there.
guys?
So
They didn't exist.
yeah.
Just like my sister's
Same with them
birthday. I
moving,
knew you were
I
going
think.
to say that.
Hey kids,
Actually, wait,
you can talk to
I
the new
forget.
neighbors
Why
after
did
we
I
moved
initially have
everything
them moved?
inside.
Because I made
Yeah,
up
sorry,
the
pal, but get
reason
out of your way.
later.
Hey,
Like, I
don't
made up
worry,
the in-universe
pal. We
reasons
can keep
later on,
hanging out.
but at
Why
first,
don't
I
you
don't
help
remember
us
what my
carry
initial
some
reason was.
boxes? Gee whiz, thank you,
Besides just having them meet Corny,
chums. I swear, I'll
I
never
guess,
meet
because I
somebody
want to
lame
show them
enough
meeting
to.
Corny.
Oh, swivel-doodle.
And
I appreciate you trying
I
to
think,
help,
I
but
guess the
please
idea
stick
from
to
Corny
smaller
just came
lighter
from,
boxes next
oh,
time.
what if
I'm
Kenny,
sorry, I'm sorry,
but the
I'm
whole
sorry, I'm
family
sorry,
of
I'm
It's
Muffled?
alright. There was another box inside the
Because
box.
I don't know. I
Something
just
there was
oh my
extremely
god! I'm
important,
sorry
but
for
it
the
wasn't breakable,
loud
so
ass
it's fine.
gardening
Look at
tools
this,
or whatever
you
is
can
going
play
on out
the
there.
box and run around this huge field or something. I'm pretty sure you'll find a bunch of other
Let's 61904.
Oh yeah, it's like there's nothing breakable in there, but there's a glass smash sound. Like whoops, I looked it up. I mean, on a crash sound for that, and it had glass smashing as part of the sound.
I'll see you chums later.
Oh my god, I apologize for the loudness outside. I hope that's not too
Why do
annoying.
people care about my birthday?
There's a February 29th song, which is like, I love this song. I don't know if people love it or think it's annoying or both. Both. I don't know.
My sister's crazy, she's out of her mind. She thinks there's a February 29.
Fun fact, I sang this at 3 different pitches because, or for different parts, because I still pitched the character voices back then. Oh, Easter egg. Early bird cameo of Scarlet with 2 eyes.
She can't hold the truth, so she lives a lie in denial 24/7,
But yeah, Skylar is also like a shameless inverted color scheme of Kaze, except not technically because red's actually not the opposite of blue, but orange is the opposite of blue, but I guess close enough. It's still, you can tell it's like, just like, I'm like, what if Kaze, but a boy and with the opposite colors, except almost the opposite colors. Except she wasn't Kaze yet, but you know, they were both Skylar. That was like a silly thing. It's like, oh, you got a Skylar with an A and a Skylar with an E. But then I decided, when I made up the actual Skywolves lore, because the Skywolves wasn't even a thing at first, it was just this little fluff ball called Skylar who had a crush on this, like, purple cat named Kyra. That was the original story, was actually just Kaze having to deal with a-holes, while navigating, like, realizing she's into, or no, she already knew she was into Kyra, or did she? I don't know. No, I think she didn't know at first. The story changed a lot. Like, the story wasn't even the same story. At first, the storyline was just, Kaze, or Skylar, you know, realizing she's gay while having to deal with all these, like, terrible a-holes. But then I was like, I don't want to make a story about them people being terrible. I didn't want to make, well, they're still villains, but, like, their villainy is, like, but they're different people are villains, and they're villains for different reasons. Like, it's not about people being closed-minded bitches anymore. Of course you can make that kind of story if you want. I just personally, like, felt like not doing that here. So I just decided, okay, nobody's a closed-minded bitch in this series anymore. Like, Cindy was a bitch, but then I was like, I don't want to make her a bitch. I don't want to make Spade a jerk, and I want to make Skylar, like, less jerky, and so so now the story is completely different. So I forgot, what was I saying? I don't know.
After 15 years, living a lie, how ridiculous.
Oh yeah, so and Kaze was just this adorable little fluff ball with a crush on Kairu. And then I was like, oh, so basically I had made up that, like, she had a mom named Star who died, and then so when I kind of, this series basically got rebooted, it's not like this was like ages and ages ago. It was rebooted like into this, like this is the original, like, sorry, not the original. This is the current one, but it was rebooted from like old, like, early installment weirdness stuff. Like, Kaze was just known as Skylar back then. And that's right, she wasn't even a wolf at first, like, or she was like a question mark species. But Spade was a wolf. And Spade, by the way, his name just came from me just randomly thinking of it, like, it just came to my brain, and I'm like, okay, I guess his name is Spade then. And then, this is another case where, like, then later on, I decided to come up with, like, cool lore, backstory reasons why he's called Spade. This happens quite a bit in this series, I think, where, like, at first something is just random, or having a less significant reason, like, oh, I made them live in a field because it's easier to, like, do in an animation, and then later I made up, like, cool, like, you know, storyline reasons why they live in a field, or why his name is Spade, or, you know, why Kaze has white fur, I guess, because, like, Kaze had white fur, because I'm like, I want to doodle this character a whole bunch on paper, and make the color scheme, like, make it so I can have, like, a bunch of fully colored in drawings, but not have to do much coloring. So, okay, she has white fur. Then the character, for doodling a whole bunch on paper really quickly, ended up becoming the main character of an animated series, a digital animated long-running series. Then, like, okay, well, that happened. Also, this character is not made by me. Well, Skylar is. I meant this one. This character is not made by me. But yeah, sorry, I paused it because I'm trying to think of what else I was talking about. Oh yeah, so I made up that Kaze had a mom that died called Star, but then I was like, I want to make a story. I like, oh, but that's sad. I want to make a story where they like try to save her. So that's like why the storyline's about them trying to save Star. Um, and then I made Spade not a jerk because I wanted to not make Spade unlikable. So I made him just like so then he just made him like more of a cinnamon roll instead, or like hopefully he's people think he's I don't know what people I don't know what anyone's opinion of Spade is. Um, but I want to make him more sympathetic. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make. Well, I mean, you can make a character who's sympathetic who is also a jerk, like as long as in that they're like, you do it in a way where like it's like they're not too unlikable. But I just personally wanted to make Spade like not a jerk, you know. You might have those moments where he's not like making the best decision or something, but he's not like a jerk though. Also, I'm looking at this old picture here, and looking at like a way newer drawing of him, which is my desktop background, and I'm like, oh my god, the difference is night and day, huh? And the new picture takes place at night. Well, but does this other one take place at day? I don't know. Da-na-na-na. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so the February 29 does not exist song, it's quite something. It probably gets stuck in your head. But yeah, it's interesting. February 29 ended up becoming a big part of this series. Originally, Kaze's birthday wasn't even February 29. It was actually October 11th or something. That's an interesting, mind-blowing fun fact. She wasn't even February 29 at first. Oh, that's right. I was talking about the Skywolves. When I made up the Skywolves lore, like, that only came along later, when I was like, oh, because, like, they're, like, Sky, and then I'm like, well, the character's named Skylar, but what if, and then there's the mom named Star, but, like, what if I made, like, you know, like, they were actually originally going to be, like, split forms of Kaze, but then I changed them to be, like, separate beings who were, like, ended up trapped in her soul for a while. And they, and so when I made up the Skywolves lore, I'm like thinking of like, you know, then the different types of weather to name them after. The 5 Skywolves, their literally names are all like weather names in Japanese. So you got Arashi, storm, Ame, rain, Yuki, snow, Taiyo, sun, and Kaze I decided to make like the main Skylar main character, like the white fur, blue eyes main Skylar. Named her Kaze, and um, Kaze, which is wind, and so I'm like, I made up that it was like part of the lore that like she was known as Skylar, but like truly like deep down she was always Kaze, even if she didn't know it most of the time. So, but but yeah, and there was a bit of confusing lore. I don't know if you saw the really old video I made where it's just Skywolf characters randoming around for like 40 something minutes, and like at some point they were talking about how Sora was her name or something, and but like that was kind of early. That was like also kind of like early installment weirdness, because like now Sora is like the title for the Skywolves, as she clarifies in episode 3, that so Sora, they all have Sora as their like part of their title, but it's not their last name. So I wanted to clarify they're not related. Anyway, this is episode 1 commentary, not episode 3. And the other thing I was gonna say, if I can remember what it was oh yeah, I had this fascination with the whole like twins being born on different days thing. So I'm like, oh, what if I incorporate that into this the Skywolf series that I'm doing? So what if it might have been before Skywolves was like a series. I don't remember. But um but Skylar and Kaze, I was like, oh, they're twins. What if I make my twin characters in my like series, um, like have different birthdays, and I was also fascinated with the idea of like one of them being February 29. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this, you know, Skylar February 28 and Kaze on February 29. Um, and then a storyline unfolded from there. Or, well, it didn't unfold from there, because I guess it unfolded from, like, other stuff, but, like, this was also part of it, I guess. So, yeah. And I also, so yeah, Skywolves was originally, like, I guess what happened is at some point I decided to make, I guess at some point 20-year-old me decided that I wanted to make an animated series, like, about these characters. So I decided to do that. I looked up, it's so weird, because Pencil 2D was always, like, I like, apparently it existed for a long time, but I somehow, throughout the years, it wasn't, like, constant, but, like, there was a few, I guess, times here and there, where I was like, oh, I want to, like, you know, find an animation program that's easy and free, like, and then I looked them up, and it was supposed, and they were, like, saying, and I specifically was trying to find ones that said they were easy or something. Then it's like, well, you were supposed to be easy, but I tried to use it, and I'm like, I don't understand how to use this thing. Then, at age 20, this happens again, like, and again, it wasn't, like, a super frequent occurrence, it was just, again, I think it was, like, a few or a couple times over the years, like, just here and there. I would just try, and then I kept failing, but then Pencil 2D, suddenly, when I looked it up in 2019, I was like, oh my god, what? Now an easy, free animation program just suddenly presented itself to me really easily when I searched it up. I'm like, where have you been all this time? And turns out, it's existed for a long time, but get this, it gets weird, it gets wilder. Oh my god, I'm probably making it sound, like, wackier than it actually is. Then, about 2 Christmases ago, I think, or Christmas Eve, like, of 2021 or something, I was looking for, like, something else. I was looking for a different thing, like a comic I had drawn that I was looking for on the computer, and I found a folder, an old, in my old folder of, like, from when I was, like, early teenager years, like 13, 14 and stuff, and I found, get this, I found Pencil 2D, an old version, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't I don't remember having the old version of this, but apparently I did, and I guess I must have not used it much, probably because I found it confusing. I don't understand why. Did Pencil 2D used to be more complicated? I don't know. I literally opened it, and it just, I kid you not, it was clearly, like, an older version of the program I'm using now, and I'm like, wait, I had this before? And I barely didn't use it? What? What is this madness? So that was something that happened. But yeah. Anyway. Also, I'm not, like, judging, like, you know, if people struggle with, like, something that's easy. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying I'm confused on how I could, how I wouldn't have used it more. Because I would think, usually if I didn't use something more, it's, like, animation-wise, it's because I found it confusing. And I'm just kind of confused because Pencil 2D is, like, pretty easy. But I'm not saying that's, like, you know, I'm not saying, like, bad about if you, like, struggle to understand it or anything. So I hope it didn't come off that way. Anyway, so the February 29 song, and, like, yeah, that's a thing.
No, February 29, no such thing as a
yeah,
preview.
this montage was also used to show, like, the years passing, because, like, it's like, oh, over all these years, he's still singing that, he's still adamant about it, and his voice is changing to show he's growing up, and also, like, also the saying, like, the different years, too. And showing Kaze being, like, increasingly, like, oh my god, you're still like this, I'm not even surprised anymore.
Either he doesn't, which makes him stupid,
so
or
yeah,
he does but pretends
the
not
sound
to, which
quality,
makes it extremely annoying. Besides,
tip, do not record in a big, large room.
Hey everyone, what are you gonna do when you
The
get home?
acoustics
I'm gonna go to
in
the store and
the
buy some
downstairs
stuff.
Really?
kitchen are
Cindy,
not
you know there's supposed to be a
ideal, and it
thunderstorm
might
this
have also been the
afternoon, right?
computer I was
Don't
using
worry,
too.
Carl, I'll manage.
All right,
It was
if
like,
you
I
say
guess
so.
one of those computers where the
I'm gonna be
microphone is
sweeping
part of the
away
computer.
from
I mean,
out
maybe
my
that could work, I don't know.
sweet adorable little rabbit.
Anyway,
Oh, Carl, you're so adorable.
so this scene,
You two make me feel like a third wheel. No, you're the cutest. No one ties. Well, what about you, Sky?
but yeah, oh, and I made Car a koala because, like, Caramello koala, and that's also why he's Australian.
No, they would be
So,
so
yeah.
cute together.
Kairu.
Really? Her? Why?
So,
What's wrong with
so
her?
I
Nothing,
changed
guess. I just feel like the only
Cindy
person in our group that doesn't
being
have
not
someone.
liking
Seeing
Kairu
Kairu and
much. I
Scarlet together
changed
makes me
her
jealous, you know?
reasoning to just being
You'll
like,
find
oh, I'm
someone
jealous
one
because
day.
I'm a fifth wheel or something, and like. And
Thanks,
it's also
guys.
kind of
I feel
strange to
terrible
me
for
how
acting so
Cindy
cold
just
with
like
Kairu in the
several
past.
minutes seem
She
to
probably
be
thinks I hate her.
being about
You can always
Cindy
apologize.
regretting treating
Yeah.
Kairu coldly
Alright,
when we
we'll
barely
invite her
saw
to walk
much of
home
that,
with
but
us. Maybe
I
she and Sky will
will
get closer.
show
Alright,
more
let's do that.
that like
Oh, I'm
in
gonna probably
other
just listen to music
episodes.
and draw or something. What are you all whispering
they
about?
all get smirks at once. So
Anyway,
yeah,
we should head home now. Car says
but
it's
yeah,
gonna
because
start soon.
originally Cindy was actually gonna be like still
Oh,
like
yeah,
flirt-minded
just a sec,
bitch, but
guys. I
then
have to
she
wait for my
stopped being
stupid
one
brother.
because
I wasn't
she.
flirting
But
with
then
those other girls. I was
I
just
decided
practicing
that
for you. I don't
this
care.
the world
I'm
of
not
this
your
series
girlfriend.
doesn't have any of that in the
Don't
first
worry, guys.
place.
It'll
So
only be a sec. Any
now,
second now, she'll slap her in the face
so
and then we can
now
go.
her Cindy's reason got changed.
Sky,
That she
let's
was
get going.
a
Why
bit
are we
not
just
nice to
standing here?
Kairu because of.
Sorry,
She
guys.
was
My
jealous.
stupid brother is
But
taking
then
forever
she
to
realized
finish
that was
failing flirting with that
anyway.
girl. Yeah, my birthday exists, so my sister's doesn't.
Some parts
Hurry
of
up, trash
scenes in this might
I'm going home
make
with you,
it be
dork
clear
faces.
that
I'm going
make
home
it
with my
might
hot
like
girlfriend
kind of
as soon
like
as she
you can
accepts my...
see that it used to be like that it was originally else about her like realizing she shouldn't be close-minded.
Alright, I think we should get going. I mean,
also,
it's getting
also that
kind of
part
cloudy.
makes you feel awkward because the part of Skylar just now because I'm like, oh, it probably sounded
Alright,
like
guys,
he was
let's
gonna
leave.
say something
Yeah,
like
that's for the
creepy.
best.
I don't know.
Oh my jeez, what the heck would
Probably
happen?
sound like he was gonna
Oh,
say something
jeez, I'm so
creepy.
sorry. I was
Well, he
trying
actually
to
wasn't. He was just gonna say like
over there
my
and keep sitting on
invitation or
everyone, and I
something.
slipped in.
But I don't want people to think Skylar's a creep. He's just supposed to be an annoying flirt, not a creepy flirt. He's just meant to be like annoying show-off guy, not like being like a creep or whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep having to pause this. There is too much happening. My mouth cannot keep up. My vocal cords and my brain cannot keep up with everything that's happening. I'm sorry, I keep having to rewind. This video is probably going to be like 50-something minutes long. Don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. Alright, we'll invite her to walk home with us.
hopefully
Maybe she and Sky will get closer.
I guess it's good to have, better to have too much stuff to say than not enough stuff, because I was also worried I would start recording these and it'd be like, oh, I don't know what to say, my brain's not calibrated to actually think of stuff to say. Kairu just like disappears. I know that probably looks like I was too lazy to do it, but she was supposed to be teleporting. I don't think episode 1 made it clear that she was teleporting.
Your girlfriend. Don't worry, guys.
But yeah, that's actually what happened
Any second
in
now,
the
she'll
part.
slap her in the face, and then we can go.
But yeah, this scene right here was like also a scene I animated out of order. One of the first scenes I started animating.
Sorry, guys, my stupid brother is taking forever to finish.
And then the previous scene I like made to kind of like bridge that gap and like show like, okay, like that this is then they were waiting and now they're still waiting. And so yeah, I think I was gonna talk about the slap animation I find funny though, like. But it's also like, oh, it probably made it look like she was slapping him because like he was about to say something dirty, but no, he wasn't. Maybe she thought he was, but I don't know. Even though she probably, she probably knows that he wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, this part, the Kairu teleported, and I animated that chibi because I felt like it would be a pain to try and animate non-chibi, so that's why I animated that part chibi. So here's a tip: if you're doing a series where them going chibi like fits in with the series, then you can do that, like where if something's a pain to animate and it doesn't break the tone of what's happening, then animate it chibi. I say because, you know, maybe if you're doing like a super serious scene, then it might be jarring to go chibi. But if it's like a funny, lighthearted, cute scene or something, then you can animate it chibi, like if it's easier for you. Like, but you don't have to. I'm just saying you can if you want to. Yeah, their eyes here, it's like their eyes, especially Cindy's, kind of like blending into her head a bit, and it's also like you can't really see any sort of pupils. Or, well, I'm not saying you have to necessarily. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to describe it.
Guys,
like,
be careful tomorrow.
your eyes are just kind of a big fuzzy blurs in some of these parts. But yeah.
Alright, Mal, you can stop that now. You made
But yeah,
so bad over here. Oh my gosh, Miss Zoe!
Danson. Look how made. Oh yeah, her name's Danson because it's named after Danson, like Caramel Danson. Caramel Danson, and then Car. I made his name Carmony because it's like, oh, because Mel, like melody, and then Car is like, what if it's like harmony but with a C, so he's Carmony, and then treble is like treble clef, like treble, like music and stuff. Cindy's last name is Mainu because I'm super mature and made not juvenile sometimes, where I'm like, oh, Mainu means female dog. Oh my god, poor female dogs. You know, but it's not, you know, I'm not, it's not like we're insulting female dogs when we use the word bitch that way. You know, it's not like we're thinking, oh, that person's a female dog, which is bad. Like, you know, no, we're not thinking that female dogs are bad by using bitch as an insult. But still, poor female dogs. But yeah, that's why I'm like super mature. I made her last name bitch. Wow. Well, I mean, technically not really, but you know. Oh yeah.
Seriously? You're interested in what Bladge?
Chutney Bladge. I will talk about where Chutney Bladge came from. Maybe I'll do it in a minute, like when she shows up a bit more. Okay.
Hey girls, what I miss?
Cindy be all like, hi.
Hey, you're always welcome
Yeah,
to come home with us anytime you want to,
Cindy is
Kyra.
a shipper on deck, but she also gets
Alright,
jealous
I'll go
of
now.
ships
Alright,
because
see you,
she
Bye.
wishes
See you,
she
Cindy.
had somebody.
Bye, Skylar. Bye, Kyru.
Oh, that's right, Cindy. That's right. For the longest time, Cindy was actually gonna be straight, but then later on I just decided to make that she's actually bi because I just ended up deciding that I wanted to make her. So yeah, that's why in the Animal Crossing video she's showed as a straight ally.
Can't really assume her personality, but
although technically that
When are you gonna ask
that
Mel?
would, as I said, in their world they don't have those kind of oppressions. So like the concept of a straight ally wouldn't exist in their world because there was no like not like there was no like oppression non-straight in the first place. So like in their world, if only it could be like that in this world. But
Go on, say it. I'm such a...
anyway, this part was because I kept flip-flopping on whether or not I wanted to have cursing in this series, so I was like, oh, but it wouldn't make sense if I cut this part out because I need Kaze to make her silly dorky joke thing. So I'm like, okay, what if a storm happens so there's thunder censoring her saying the word.
I thought the sun was coming out again.
It's really
Now
sweet.
suddenly it's storming and raining and everything. Tomorrow's forecast is a
And
snow.
yeah, it wasn't being volatile. Well, see you
but
tomorrow.
yeah, anyway,
If your brother's home when you get there, call me immediately. If he isn't home when you get there, call me immediately.
Okay. Hey, I'm home.
she just leaves the door open because I couldn't be bothered to animate her closing it. So I just decided, okay, she actually it closed itself off screen.
I haven't seen you since you were this high.
But yeah, Luna, I don't remember when or why I made up Luna, besides I guess at some point I just wanted to make up that like there was another relative in the series, or I don't remember where Luna came from, except maybe I just wanted to make Star have a twin or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't ask why she has one eye, because I think oh, that's another thing. Luna having one eye, that's also a case where it's like I just did it randomly, but then later I actually made up like cool backstory, interesting lore reasons why she has one eye. So it's like one of those things where like it's like, oh cool, this random concept. Then I think it's really cool when that kind of thing happens. I mean, it's also cool when when you, even if that's not the case too, but you know.
Enjoy the upcoming month.
But yeah.
An actual party.
Oh yeah, I like how I established that, you know, February is a tough time for them, so.
You're welcome, Sky.
But yeah, like, Luna just casually has one eye for some reason. But you will find out why in the future if I can please animate like stuff. Hopefully not take too long. And I'm not saying that as an insult to anyone if they take a long time. I'm just like, you know, I'm just saying that I want to like. But it's like, oh, what this, oh, oh, suddenly there's a storyline. Okay, sorry. Episode one, you know, I don't think episode one's like bad or anything. I just feel like episode one, like, its story, I don't know, like, I guess it's you know, it's still good. It still establishes like stuff, and you know, it still has like, you know. But yeah, oh, Bladge. I was talking about Bladge. Okay, so Bladge came from the fact that this was like a close to 4 years old conversation where my cousins and I, my cousins were talking about beige being an ugly color, and I was like, oh, poor beige, like, but, so I was like, what if I made up a character in this series with beige fur, like, even though she ended up having brown fur, but then I changed it later to actually have beige fur, because I'm like, one of the big points was that she was beige, so, you know, I made her beige again, but, like, and I was like, what if I made up a character who was like kind of faily, but also like a cinnamon roll? I hope that Bladge in these episodes didn't. I hope that it didn't like make anyone feel insulted though, because you know, I'm not trying to insult anyone for being nerds or for, you know, talking about their interests or anything like that. You know, it does still show that, you know, people shouldn't be jerks to, or like, you know. I hope it didn't come off like mean-spiritedly. It's just supposed to be like a lighthearted, like, oh haha, Bladge is boring, she talks about washcloths too much or whatever, but I'm like hoping it didn't come off like as an insult to anyone if they, like, you know, I do not support, you know, insulting people for their interests, unless the interest is like actually like terrible, like, you know, killing people or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about I'm clearly talking about just like harmless stuff, like, you know, being interested in like washcloths or something, even if it's boring. You know, like they're allowed to, you know. So the whole point is that, you know, characters like Kaze are like a bit like kind of like Bladge is you know, but they're not like outwardly like, oh, Bladge, like we're gonna bully you or anything. You know, while characters like Skylar are more like, you know, actually more like speak out, like more jerky about it, but like, you know, so like Kaze is still standing up for Bladge here, like she's still being like, you know, yes, I'm annoyed too, but like we don't want to like, you know, like bring her down and be a jerk to her. This little pocket was animated on this website called Oekaki or something, which is like more so for making GIFs, not so much for animations of series, which is why it looks so pixely here, because you can't make the canvas that big. And I'm like, okay, it was like at this point where I'm like, okay, I need to like find an animation program. So I think this part right here is actually the first thing for this series I animated. But yeah, I basically, I got this program, animated a little tiny bit of this, cool, and I was like, cool, I have a program to animate. Proceeds to spend the next like 2 to 3 days making this weird ass trippy animation of like South Park characters being high or whatever. Because that's my brain. But I did eventually also make this. But yeah, like, this part is kind of... Oh yeah, why does they say, like, I'm super hardcore? Because that was me. Originally, they said the word badass, but then I'm like, oh, actually, I don't want to put cursing in this, because I'm gonna show my cousins who are younger. I don't know. But then I'm like, but then I don't mind now.
There's no way Skylar thinks that about you. Cindy?
So I just, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
I wish I could believe that. Alright,
the blushes have a mind of their own, like, why do they, like, I don't know. Again, with the not closing the door, I'm like, I just, like, decide that the doors close automatically off screen, like. But yeah, so, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about where Bladge, okay, so, the name Bladge, it comes from when this show was on the TV, and there was this character named Blanche, but at first I misheard, I thought they were calling her Blanche. So I decided, that was years ago, so then I decided, like, oh, that's a perfect name for this character. But then I also decided that the name Chutney fit well, because for some reason the word Chutney makes me think it sounds like the nerd girl name. So I'm like, okay, her first name's Chutney and her last name is Bladge. And then her middle name is Beige, as an homage to the color that she was birthed from. Like, what? I don't know. But yeah, so I decided to make this character who's like, you know, a bit faily, but also still like a bean. Cause I'm like, you know, she doesn't deserve to be like pain. To be pain.
I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you.
This was meant to be like one of those cool scenes where like, you know, the same question is answered by like the scene switches and they answer a different question that also answers that question or something. Oh yeah, that song reference though.
Star, please, give me a sign. Just give me a sign that you can at least
So yeah,
hear me.
Where are you?
I am right here, young one.
Don't call me young one.
So
I'm
yeah,
only 2 minutes younger than you.
What?
it's like,
Huh? That's not.
I'm trying to remember if I had anything to say. I hope not. Oh, yeah, Kaze and Kairu, like, having no clothes in that scene was kind of weird, but it's like, no, they're just little fluffy things, though. It doesn't show anything. But it's kind of like, why would Kairu draw them like that? It's like, it's not for that reason, okay? It's just because maybe it's probably because, like, she's venting her, like, feeling her awkward, embarrassed insecurities. So maybe she feels like getting yelled at by her crush would be even more awkward if they're not wearing anything. It's not supposed to be like for that kind of, you know, anyway. I just realized this doesn't say antibacterial. This is antibacterial. Okay, sorry, that's off topic. Yeah, it doesn't look like a massive hurricane because the effects were kind of limited, but they're supposed to be, pretend it's a giant hurricane. I'm so sorry for the loud leaf blower or whatever that is outside. If you can hear that. But yeah, I discovered there is... Oh, that's right, yeah. So, my computer. I discovered this on a different computer first, downstairs. That's not mine. I was like, you know... Oh yeah, cause I was downstairs. And I was like, oh man, I can't work on it because there's no movie maker. But then, I found out there was a video editor on the computer. And I'm like, wait, and this has been on my computer for years! I've had the computer, not the one I have now, the one I used before. I had that thing since I was like almost 18, and wait, how old was I? I think, yeah, I got that thing when I was like late 2016 or something. But then, I didn't know it had this video editor with all these cool effects on it until I was like 20. It was like the middle of 2019, and I'm like mid to late 2019, like August or something, or July or something. And I'm like, wait, this has been on my computer this whole time. Like, I discovered it on the computer downstairs because I was looking after the cat. There was a computer downstairs that, you know, was the same, like Windows, or actually, I don't know, it was Windows 10, maybe Windows 8 or something, I don't remember. But, blah, blah, blah. But my point is, it's like, I discovered, like, because out of, like, you know, trying to find a video editor on the computer, because Movie Maker wasn't there, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, this is here, this is on, that means it's on my computer too. It was, and I'm like, this thing has been on my computer for years, and I only just realized it, because I was looking for a player on a different computer and realized, oh my god, wait, this thing is on mine too then. So then I was like, so then basically that happened, then, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. So yeah, I definitely used those effects to my advantage, because, you know, obviously, like, you know, a lot of them are very useful and resourceful for this series. But I also love to animate my own effects too, so I love to have a cool, interesting, like, blend of, like, both of them, where, like, I sometimes use effects from the Movie Maker, from the video editor Photos app thing, and then also, like, animate my own ones too, so it's like, you know, I can do both. Dinner running late. Nah, it's fine, that actually works to my advantage, because, like, it helped me, like, not have to cut off this video. Anyway, but But yeah, so, Jesus God, why is this thing so long? I mean, I know why, but like, why? But yeah, I'm just trying to remember if I had anything else to say about episode 1. I do feel like episode 1 is like kind of a bit a bit odd about like, you know, what is the actual storyline of episode 1, but it's like, you know, I don't think it's like a bad, like, you know, I think it still works, but yeah, but yeah, so and Kairu. I don't remember why Kairu ended up becoming. Oh yeah, and Kairu's name. This was kind of random, but it came from like in Japanese, Kyle. The name Kyle is pronounced Kairu, but you know, so it's not Kairu herself. Her name is not exactly the same. It's pronounced and spelt differently, but it's similar. But that's where it came from. So yeah, I'm like, I love how Kaze just runs outside to just get her annoying brother to come back in the classroom, and next thing she knows, there's this like not ominous, sorry, wrong voice, wrong word, not wrong voice, this like mysterious like cool voice from the sky, or you could even say radiant, like radiant voice, with being like, oh, by the way, like, your mom's alive and you can save her, and there's like 4 others, there's like a bunch of wolves trapped in your soul, and you and your name's actually Kaze. And then she's like, wait, what? Oh, hang on, slow down. Okay, I'm just kidding, it doesn't actually happen that way. Also, just because I poke fun at my scenes doesn't mean I can't still take them seriously, so, you know, I do still like take the scenes like seriously while also being able to like poke fun at them, because like it's funny. But yeah, Kaze, you know, but yeah, the storyline. Oh yeah, Kairu. Let's talk about Kairu. I don't remember why her personality became this like adorable, flustered thing, because originally she was like kind of the opposite. She was like this chill, laid back, confident, like flirty, like girl, and somehow she just turned into like this anxiety ridden like fluff ball, and like, or flusterball is a word I made up. It means like, you know, a ball of flusterness, basically. And I don't remember why she became that way. I don't remember why I decided to make how she got that personality. Like, I'm not complaining, I'm just confused. I don't remember how that happened, besides like the fact that cats can sometimes be skittish, so maybe that's why. I don't remember. But yeah, Kairu, originally Kaze was the more flustered one. Like, she could still get embarrassed and flustered and nervous too, but she was originally like the more flustered one, while Kairu was kind of like this like confident flirt, like kind of flirt or whatever, who'd be like, hey, do you want to like hang out with me at the arcade or something? But now suddenly she's like, oh god, no, I could never flirt with someone. It's like, I don't know, I don't remember where that came from, but okay, maybe cats being skittish or something. I don't remember. Oh, I'll talk more about Kairu, like, in her teleportation in episode 2, but not now, because I don't have the time for that right now, because dinner's soon, but I will do that another time. So, hope people enjoyed that ginormous, like, video that, like, but yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had anything else to say about episode 1 before I stopped the recording. Episode 1, but yeah, episode 1, I wish I strive to get back the speed I used to have for episode 1, and especially episode 2. But yeah, so yeah, but yeah, oh yeah, I was just gonna say, episode 1, like, basically kind of introduced some of the main characters. The Skywolves got, like, a brief cameo during the part where she was singing 11:11 p.m. But yeah, and but yeah, like, for the most, and Scarly got an early bird cameo in the crowd watching Skylar singing annoying Kaze, but for the most part, like, the main characters, we mainly introduced Kaze, Skylar, Cindy, Mel, Car, Kairu, and also introduced Spade, Luna, and then some like less major ones like Bladge and stuff. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Coach Massachusetts. His voice was meant to be like purposely sounding a bit like it was obvious that like somebody with a not deep voice trying to do a deep voice. So you know that's why his voice purposely sounds like that. Oh yeah, I also I remember like the teachers. Also, oh yeah, another thing with Bladge is like I hope it doesn't come off like I'm like making fun of people with like speech impediments either, because that's another thing I'm like paranoid about that. It's supposed to be like a lighthearted thing, but I'm like paranoid. But you know, also like how I wanted to make like I wanted to make like the teachers in this school like have names that sounded funny in Bladge's voice, but I'm also paranoid like I don't know. I get paranoid that I'm like that it like it's like comes off badly for me to like I don't know joke about that. I don't know. But you know, it's just again it's just meant to be a lighthearted thing. But yeah, that's why his name's Coach Massachusetts. It's kind of a random name, but you know, same with Mrs. McIntosh. Oh, sorry, I just got a text saying that the cat's on the stairs. Skylar's on the stairs. Yes, I have a cat named Skylar. The cat actually came after the character. Like the characters Skylars were actually created before Cat Skylar was born. But like but then we named her Skylar. I typed X33 as a response. Skylar's on the stairs. Giddy. Maybe she heard her name being said a whole bunch. I remember I was watching SSS Warrior Cats earlier. With Skylar. Well, I say with Skylar, she wasn't. I don't think she was paying attention. Cats are looking at each other. But yeah, but you know, I was trying to play with Skylar, but she kept seeming not like kind of interested, but kind of not. I don't know. She kept walking away too. Also, I responded to that message by saying, "Aw, X33." Okay, I'm gonna check out the cats looking at each other, so if I remember more stuff, I'll say it in the next video or something. Okay, thank you, bye. I hope you enjoyed it. Yay!